better than just listening to your voice in your head.
The voice in your head. You just started the show, Liz. Thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome to the Great Northern Sex Cast. And wow, kind of a triumphant return of Liz to the show. You haven't been in a while.
No.
It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here because we've got a goodie bag.
Not since Miss Sin's last.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God, that's right. That's been a while, too. She's a very cool lady, but I am very tired after those shows. How about you, Colleen Bertino?
My brain has to wrap itself around some very new concepts.
Yeah. That's a very diplomatic way of putting it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, God, wasn't Ross Swayback a riot last week?
Had a lot of fun. If you dive right into what sort of lube do you like, and then lube cleaning tips, that someone's feeling pretty comfortable.
Well, it probably uses a lot of it. So
yeah.
He is such a great guy. He's also here on the ANS network. He does the Good podcast, and I've been following a lot of his stuff this last week because he's prolifically out there, which is good because he's self-employed. But he just has his hands in everything, and it's all pretty fun. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, from decorating Christmas trees to cooking to how to, wrap a package, and for him that could mean a lot of things.
Right.
And it's been fun. It's getting to know someone new.
Yeah, and we got to have him back in here. Mm-hmm. Liz, he is just flat hysterical. Have you seen him on Channel 9?
No, I don't watch broadcast television.
Don't you?
No.
Okay. When did you start that?
Well, when they switched to digital, we got one of those digital tuners, but all the stations with it, just like they, like it pixels out.
Okay. So
I was like, well, that's the end of that. So.
Wow. Okay. That's cool.
We got Hulu. We have Netflix. We have Amazon Prime with Stars. I mean,
all that stuff.
Yeah. So I don't ever watch like the news. Like that's really the only thing I can't get is like the news.
Yeah. But you can get that on the internet. I mean, and faster. Like what I notice is because I work at home by myself on the days when I'm not out doing something like this with you guys. And I like something on in the background, so I'll put it on a news channel or whatever. But what I finally realized is all they do is repeat the same stuff all day. Mm-hmm. I can learn everything I need to do in about a half an hour online. And then I don't have to. So then I put something else on in the background. I don't know.
I listen to NPR.
Yeah.
Especially in the morning because they do a lot of in-depth. And I want to stay smart. So
that's a good idea.
So I'll do that as far as my news, and then Facebook. I make sure I'm Facebook like the Star Trib, Pioneer Press, my St. Paul Police Department, and then I can get all my news feeds that way. So
that's really cool. Times are really different.
Yeah, I still get the regular paper. I like the idea of going through paper, and I like my funnies. Yeah. So there is that, but that's my starting point. Yeah. And then I've got several online, sources too, and I go through, and I tend to keep my personal Facebook feed just fluffy as hell. I have probably blocked a minimum somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 people and sites and games and everything like that. And I can block things so fast; it's almost it's like breathing. I can barely scan something and know I don't want to deal with that. And I'm always fascinated that when I am reading an article and I'm idiotic enough to hit the comment, look at the comments. Let's say that it's at the beginning and there's only it says 10 comments listed. Mm-hmm. Only 3 will show up, which tells me that I blocked 7 people because they usually say something. It's like I don't need that because it's my technically it's my, I'm the
no
product.
one else is looking at it.
Yeah, but it's just me. It just so it's how I want it.
It's funny. We the way that we live now and the way how that is so, completely integrated. And I don't know about you guys, but I have a policy about my personal Facebook as well. I'm very, very concerted about what goes up there. I very rarely put anything that has to do with business. And I try not to say something unless it's either funny or it really lets somebody know something that's going on that is of substance.
But the problem with that though is that you have all these people that if they are if they want to know about the world one way, then everything in their life is going to agree with that.
Yeah.
So they think that
everyone agrees with them.
Yeah.
Folks that do that, that it's just they did it before with regular TV. They would only watch one station. It's just it's the same. But I know that I equally block. just too much. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Or you could, and it, like I said, my page, my rules.
Yeah.
No, I don't blame you a bit. I think that's actually really smart. Guys, because we've got some stuff that's just going to keep snowball and segueing, and I want to play this one thing for you because I got tickled, and there's a little bit of annoying chatter here at the beginning, but what this is, Rolling Stone's got a 50th anniversary edition out, and they're putting out all sorts of cool stuff from their archives. And this is from the Beatles when they were recording the Rubber Soul album. And so there's, I know these were giant reel-to-reel tapes that were running in, the room. As
Oh yeah,
they were
you don't
setting
stop;
up.
they're just running. Yeah.
So listen to the British voices in the background as we hopefully this works.
I just love the way it says snowball. Yeah, there is no snowball. It's like 40 degrees and there's still green grass.
I know, right?
This is fascinating
I think
out there.
my hostas are coming in.
Yeah, I think I have irises coming up, and it's driving
Do
me
you
crazy.
really?
Yeah, because they all got split and replanted, and some of none of them were like 2 or 3 inches high, and I'm like, oh God, I think those are new. I said that cannot be good for the plants. And I'm going to talk about all
Because it got cold and then it got warm. I mean, that's what you do if you have like paper whites or tulips that you want to bloom in your house. You put them in like the freezer or your basement for a few days, and then you bring them upstairs and they will bloom because they'll think it's springtime. Well, same thing here. It was like freezing, and then it's now 40. So they're like, oh, sweet, it's spring.
Yeah,
That is so
it's driving
funny.
me crazy.
That is just like, and I'm working on this, but so I just wanted to set this up. So, John Lennon, rest his soul, has been dead for like over 30 years.
Yeah, I know
I
that.
can't get my
Almost
head
my
around
whole life.
Passed away my sophomore year of high school.
I was a freshman.
What year was it?
1980.
80. Yeah, 1980. 'cause
I was
right there.
4.
Yeah. God. You had to, didn't you? Oh my God. This is so disturbing. So disturbing.
I so just missed a spit take on that.
Oh my God.
I did not have a sip of coffee.
Oh my God.
Well, now we have a 25-year-old in the office, so we get to play that game and be the old people.
Oh,
Isn't
it
that-
is. It is hilarious. I was like, it's great because I was like, really? What? Huh? Okay. And I forget because my brain, part of my brain, thinks I'm still in my 20s. And so it is very weird when I realize that I am twice his age.
Yeah, you could be his dad, his mom. Yeah.
Just like, wait a minute. What am I? Oh, jeez. But
I mean, I could be his mom. I had my period at 11, so.
yeah, you think about.
Here we go.
We found the British.
Now, just from after that, the last two do what you want to do.
Oh, do you have it? Okay.
Listen, there's John Lennon singing "Listen, Do You Want to Hold a Penis?" So there's an entire YouTube video out there. Sorry, it sounded kind of goofy. It sounded better, of course, when I did it before the show started. Yeah, and so that's out there. But the whole clip is fascinating, and it's this really cool, just kind of insight if you're a Beatles-loving human like a lot of us. so many
Most
of us
people
are.
on the planet. Yeah.
Guys, so I showed up at your, what do you call the event on Sunday? Colleen, what's the official name?
It just seems
Training
like
seminar.
Training seminar, yeah.
Biannual training seminar.
Bi. Oh, it's bi. Okay. I don't know. I think you're not inclusive. I think it should be the, BTQ training center. Anyway, no, one thing that struck me as I walked in the door is I think in my head, I have this impression of what I think the stereotype across the board is for everybody that works in your stores. And until I see them all in a room like that, first of all, how many you have is amazing. I forget how big it is, But there's people of a wider, broad age span than I thought.
Yeah.
I kind of had it in my head everybody's in their like 20s and 30s, but they're not. And that's really kind of cool.
It's been even more. I mean,
Yeah,
we've had people in their 60s, 70s work for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that New Jersey had quite the 50+ contingent for a while for some of their for some of the stores.
Really?
I just it's whoever's looking for a job at the time.
Yeah.
But it's always it's always funny because like I get to see everyone, and they're like, "Oh, so you're the person whose stamp is on my paycheck."
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, because you don't.
No, I don't. Unless there's a major project going on in a store or something, or we're totally remerchandising or something's
Or
going
somebody's
on.
been around for a while.
Or it's sort of, manage. I don't. It's impossible to meet everyone.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, I mean, there's turnarounds. So.
Yeah, but it's retail. I mean, it's just normal.
Yeah. Well, so I walk in and. It's a big room there at the Westin in Edina, and you grab your breakfast and you go and you
Which was so good.
Yeah, they do a really nice spread there. They really do. So you sit down and there's like, a place setting for people, the chairs or whatever. And I sat my eggs and sausage down and then wished that I had gotten bacon because everything that I set my plate of food on is phallic shaped. That was my placemat. So
And those sausages were big.
Yeah.
Yes,
what,
they were.
What is it about like hotel and buffet sausages that are
Big
bigger
sausages.
than like home sausage?
I don't know.
I've noticed that. I don't know where because you never see those big sausages like at Cub.
No.
No, no, unless they're brats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
They were like little half-size brats.
Yeah, they are so amazing. So there's all this great stuff, and then I want you guys to tell me what was new this time. I guess is my first.
A lot of usually at these things they always bring all their new stuff, so most of it is new.
Well, we had two companies that we hadn't, at least two companies that we hadn't heard to before, which was
so XR Brands was new. That was the first one.
Yeah, we've carried their stuff.
Yeah, but she's never been there. Perfect Fit was new, and so was Oxballs. As far as the seminar, those three companies we've never.
Okay, so I got an oxball thing. Okay, and I it's at home, and my boyfriend's like afraid of it. Will you guys explain what they do?
Well, they're cock rings, right? But they're they use sturdier materials, and then I think the one they sent us has a bit of a ball stretch to it.
Yep.
So it's not going to stretch your balls, but it's going to give you that tugging sensation.
Okay.
Was this sort of like the ball cover?
It was the Unit X stretch,
yes.
so it had the cock ring, and then it has like a slight thing underneath for the balls. So the penis goes on, and then the balls go through this hole, and it has a nice, half-inch, enough to just tug those balls down just a little bit.
And what I was noticing about some of the stuff, because a lot of the personal toy, adult sexual health industry lately has really been focused on sort of non-phallic women toys. The guys have had a lot of masturbators, but there's several male companies that are coming in, and that's Perfect Fit, Knoxballs, and stuff like that, that are making items that are designed by men for for more male play. They're rigorous, as they would put it. And it's, I was noticing that the silicone is thicker, the rims. If I had a penis, I think these would be very comfortable to wear. And they're very well made, and they're made with. Some of them are more gay, centric toys, but that doesn't mean they can't be used for other things, because the ball coverings, where you're just putting your sack into thing. If you're going at it doggy style and you like the slapping motion and you've got everything there, you're going to get some extra oomph to that.
As a female, that's an added bonus. And then one of them had a little bullet on the bottom. Well, that would be a vibrating.
Yeah. And so there was a lot of stuff going on there, and it's just been fascinating. But they've made very masculine styles. Some of the cock rings look like chain, even though they're silicone, or they look like hex nuts, or and it's nice to see that there is there's masculine items too, because not everything has to be for everyone. It's okay, it's okay to specialize. And I met the owner of Oxballs, and I'm blanking on his name right now. We had dinner the night before, and it's fascinating, because you're just chatting, because you're like, where did you where's your mindset on this? And they're just like, we just wanted toys that worked the way we thought they should work.
Yeah.
And and it's
you try to imagine some of our other like vibrating cock rings. They're like these little things, and you try to imagine like two giant dudes going at it, and they're probably like, it broke within 10 minutes. Well, it's just, you need a more sturdy,
Yeah.
You know.
But again, I think going back to what you said, for heterosexual pleasure too, I think that these can be fun because it just adds a layer for the guy, even if it's regular male-female sex, right? I mean, do you guys agree with that? That's why we were kind of looking at the piece that we brought home. We haven't opened it yet because remember what happened last time?
Oh yeah, puppy ate it.
The puppy ate the vibrator.
Yeah, keep it.
Well, she sees anything wrapped in plastic, and it's like boop boop boop. So we've got it on a high shelf at the moment. We haven't had a chance to unpack it.
Don't forget lube.
No, I won't. I won't. But
water based because a lot of these are made with they're silicone and they're also made with silicone blends, and really you because it's a sturdier and they're handmade. A lot of the stuff is made in the U.S. on some of these new companies, but you definitely want a water-based lube.
Well, I think the lube with those cock rings has to do with pubic hair and pulling.
Yeah, because I was going to say it's not. Yeah. Okay. So
pubic hair. It was nice to see. I don't know which company it was, but someone
the muff.
Someone came up with a masturbator that has a really nice bush,
really big bush,
and it felt great. It felt real.
Yeah, it did.
And
it was soft.
Yeah, because we were because I was sitting next to Liz and we were laughing over a company that doesn't exist anymore that used to make these original masturbators, which were just these rubber tubes with like. Imagine the worst cheap doll hair that you can think of from your childhood.
Like 3 plugs, you know?
This was really well hand-sewn items. And we're just like, oh my God, this is...
Well, everything it goes around. So like women they kept shaving it until it was gone, right? Well, now they don't shave it all. And bush is in.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, well, they say it's also the pheromone trapper.
Oh.
Like if you get rid of it all, then there's nothing to trap your scent,
Huh.
So
scent is important.
Okay. Wow. Who knew? That's a new one. I did not know that. Well, I got to tell you, I got a hilarious email regarding, since we're talking about pubic hair, a very horrified email from a friend who found a gray one.
Oh, a
pubic
hair? Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the rant was to the effect, is my pussy aging faster than the rest of me because I don't have any of this on my head?
Oh, that's funny.
I was like falling over laughing.
Funny.
And so I was afraid, but I put it out there. I said, well, what did you do? And she said, that she plucked it. And I just said, well, you get rid of one and 6 more will show up to the funeral. So good luck with that.
No,
you're
gonna get gray hair everywhere. What's more frightening than that is the gray chin hair. Because you can't laser that. The laser needs the dark, the color. Yeah. So it's
pure white.
Yeah.
It's the only nice thing about being a redhead is I won't go gray. I will just go pure white.
Oh, really?
Yeah, red just goes pure white.
Okay.
It is fascinating, but no, that first gray, what the first gray anywhere. I mean, I'm assuming that if I didn't pay attention to my armpits, that I would probably notice gray there, and that would just be like, really? But
I think it'd be worse to be a man and find yourself with like hair just sprouting everywhere.
Oh, like when they get older?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at my husband naked and I'm like, I don't remember all this hair. Like, I really don't remember you having hair there when we met. I'm like, I don't think you did. Like, and it just, just keeps populating, I mean, you ever see a man with hair on top of his nose?
Oh, I was about to say, that's the one. Oh, like, oh,
that's bad.
Right?
Yes.
I'd much rather have gray pubic hair than hair on top of my nose.
Well, talk about a glass half full. All right, then. So, I just wanted to know if any revolutionary, besides what we just talked about, stuff was presented.
No, we got the updates on the other companies, but I was mostly fascinated about hearing about these new companies and stuff that we're bringing in. Some of it's still online only. More of it's coming into the stores as people hear about it and ask about it, and it's just been really nice.
That's cool. I had a little whip too on my place setting. It's really cute. I was just whapping myself with it when we were chatting, and it's one for people that aren't into the real BDSM.
Well, it's a flogger, so it's meant to tickle. You do kind of hard to demonstrate on the
more dangling
radio,
and
but you
tickling.
do. So this is your pubic area.
Okay. And you just push towards. Okay, we'll take a picture of this and I'll send it to Megan.
Right, that's kind of
but it's not necessarily a pain thing. Per se.
Not a flogger, unless it has tips.
Oh, Okay. Well, I don't want tips. Thank you very much. I'll get like
No,
fluffy flogs.
You slap with paddles
Okay.
or bare hands.
See, she knows freaking everything. You scare me sometimes, Liz, with the stuff that you come out.
After because we used to sell a few things that had like the little knots on the end and a few other stuff, but most of the folks, like I said, that became an item that people wanted exactly what they wanted, and it was much easier to special order something from a fetish company versus having a this plethora, because it really when you're doing something it could actually cause pain if someone wants that, or it was it needs to be designed exactly the way they want it.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The XR brands with those nipple elongators.
Yeah, that was nice.
She's shaking her head, but what does that mean?
Did you miss that? They were the first ones.
Oh no,
no,
I wasn't there.
They were like these metal. You know what a penis pump looks like? It's like a cylinder.
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine that made out of metal, and on the end had a nipple clamp, and then there was a big long screw that went through the center. So you put it over your boob, you attach the nipple clamp to your nipple, and then you screw it so that it slowly pulls your nipple out. And so when you're wearing it, like they were like what, 8 inches
Yeah, I can't. I mean,
long?
I mean, were these pictures?
No, she had these things, and they were like 8 inches. Like
I think when I was looking at them, because I was doing some other stuff during this time, and when I was going through the XR brands to put stuff on the online, I looked at some of it and I said, okay, I can see why this would be interesting to people. I know what's going on, but sometimes I think something was designed to appeal also aesthetically. I don't think anyone's pulling their nipples 6 inches long.
Oh no,
Thank
no.
God.
Well, they were
the-
attached with that clover clamp, which itself is
like 3 inches.
3 inches.
But they went, okay, well, how can we just make this look?
Yeah. But when you're wearing
Wearing
them,
them.
you've got these like iron cages on your nipples. I mean,
No, thank you.
yeah,
I
they
mean,
were.
enjoy that.
Everyone was like, "What?"
Wow. No, I did not. I managed to miss that. Holy moly. Well, yeah. I mean,
And that was first thing. That was pretty funny. The fact that was their first, like, that's all of our high end, like, fetish, that's where we get all that stuff from, and they were first.
Yeah, you just finish up all of your, everyone's sitting down to a second cup of coffee, maybe has a leftover croissant, and then the nipple stretchers come out.
Here
And
goes
the sounding, and all
and
that
8
stuff.
a.m. is early for that.
7:30.
7:30 is when they start kick that sucker off. Okay. So, couple things, and we're gonna play Clarence Carter's "Backdoor Santa" for you as we end the show today, because it's funny and it's really good, and we're gonna end the show. That's our little Great Northern Sexcast Christmas treat for you this week, guys. There's some stuff going on, and in Massachusetts. It's been really busy. For once. Normally, Florida, not so much. A little bit from Florida today, a little from California. But in Boston, one of the things that caught my eye, this woman, and it's really funny because it just shows that you can't please everybody and you're always going to piss somebody else off. But this woman is turning roadkill into high-end fashion fur accessories, and she's making coats and whatever.
If it's fresh enough.
Well, she gets out there and she calls it accidental fur. But I saw some of the pieces. I mean, there was a purse made out of a fawn skin that had been, it's really, I mean, I could see that stuff selling for a boatload of money and really cool. But here's what's funny is the animal activists are saying, some of them are like, well, at least you're not specifically killing an animal, but we still think it's in bad taste.
Yeah, but that goes along the line of using the whole animal. Like if it's dead, let's use it.
Right.
I mean, as opposed to just throwing it in the landfill.
Yeah. But it's
or letting it sit there for.
Oh yeah, no, there's nothing like going on a road trip and playing Count the Roadkill. I will be in the car, we're driving along, and there's like, how do you see this? I said, well, I'm driving, so I'm constantly scanning, so I see the dead things.
Yeah.
And I would much rather if someone got out there and moved the dead things.
Yeah.
A lot of states
Or drive by the same dead thing every day.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
And just watch it slowly.
Can I just tell you? That reminds me. Okay, so we have this meat processor where I'm living at our cabin.
Like hunting.
Well, yeah, but
processor?
they sell regular meat too. You
Okay.
go in there. And I bought our organic
Butcher.
free range turkey there for Thanksgiving. It was wonderful. But I was in there, in fact, to pick up the turkey. And it was busy. People were coming in with their deer or whatever. And there was a line, and it's tiny, and they're just really cool people. So I just kind of hang out and let them do their thing, and they'll get to me. They see me. And out of the corner of my eye, I see through the glass, I see one of the butchers handling a small caliber rifle, right? It just didn't really sink in because I'm kind of taking in everything, trying to decide if I want to buy something else. A couple minutes later, he goes out a door. Don't think about it. I'm like exploring the different types of brats, which they sell gummy bear brats. That just sounds disgusting to me. But I digress. Then all of a sudden, I hear this gunshot. And I'm like, I literally flew off my feet. I mean, I went vertical. I mean, I was like, and nobody else in there.
Right.
There was like 10 other people doing
Bats
this.
and I.
Right. Yeah, no, nobody else even noticed. But he went outside and shot something. I'm like, this is too fresh for me. I need to go outside for a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, they shoot stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, did you know that? I did not know that.
I watched a survival school, and that's like for some branch of the military, and that was one of the first things they have them do is they have to kill an animal, because a lot of them have like never done that. And if you're gonna be lost in the woods, you kind of have to trap and snare,
Yeah. Oh, that was just frightening. So if you want to look up the fashion furs, it's Petite Mort Furs. She's been in business for two years. Then if you go to Brooklyn now, a penthouse in Brooklyn.
Oh, I did
you see this? The Christmas lights in the big it's a big penis.
Yeah.
All lit up. I mean, they did a good job. It's
well,
perfect.
you'd have to if you're gonna go for it. You gotta.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want a half-assed penis.
No.
Well, they had that. What last year we had the Christmas butt plug.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the caption.
Except I think it was supposed to be a tree. Oops.
Well, the caption was well hung.
Yeah.
These are very well hung lights. I love that one. That's a great picture. Megan,
Can they do anything?
Can they what?
No, I can't imagine. I mean, it's a cartoon.
It's an outline, yeah.
It's an outline. It's a cartoon. Funny. It's not a real. I mean, I'm not even sure to some extent, depending on what the rules are, that if in Brooklyn or in that borough or what's going through there, that.
And then there's this public outcry. The children, right?
Children,
it's like, just tell them it's a penis. Whatever.
Yeah.
or if you're looking at Ross Swayback's Christmas party pictures, did you see the like salmon, poached salmon in the shape of a lobster?
Yeah, I've seen the lobster.
Funny.
I've seen the lobster mold, and if you take a lobster mold and make some sort of aspic thing out of it, and then put a really heavy pale pink cream sauce over it, it's gonna look like a penis, and that's all there is to it.
I'm like, oh yeah, right, lobster, sure. Okay. There's eyes on it. I'm not buying it.
So we should market our penis molds as lobster molds, and we
lobster
might
molds.
sell twice as many, huh?
I was just laughing because I've gone to a party and brought some mid-century kitsch, appetizers, but all I did was, carve a hole into a cabbage, throw some sterno in there, and then stick little smokies on toothpicks so you could grill over it.
Yep.
Yep. There was, technically smokies are penis shaped, but nothing like the lobster mousse.
Oh God,
oh, that's funny.
The picture's hysterically funny. I mean, it's extremely funny. So, okay, just while we're on the topic of food, really quick, this is also out of Massachusetts, and the link has gone to Megan, and oh my God, there is this poor letter carrier, a man, who has to battle these wild turkeys like every single day.
Yeah.
So he's got this big stick. Oh my God. I mean, I shouldn't be laughing because, what a hassle. Like every single day. And those things are big.
Oh, yeah. And they're mean.
And they're mean. And he's like, gah. And you hear him at one point go, every day. And he's like, bah. But oh my God, you have to watch this. And then maybe it'll make you feel less bad about frying one of those or baking one of those suckers up for Christmas. But oh my God, the video is classic.
No. A friend posted pictures the other day where she lives on one of the western suburbs in a wooded area, and she looked out her porch door, and there were several turkeys on the deck looking in the window like, hello, let me in. And I'm like, and when my parents lived out in the western burbs too, I haven't seen any, roaming around Minneapolis, but I'm sure they are probably down by the creek and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And they're big suckers.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. There's some that like to hang out on right by 494 and 149 in Egan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a group that's
there's some on 13 in Mendota.
Okay. Yeah.
13 and 35E. Yeah, they're always there. I see them.
I was just looking here. A friend commented because I did post the video of the Backdoor Santa.
Yeah.
And a friend sent what he considers a better version. So we'll have two versions
Okay, we'll
when I
put
get
those
back
up.
to the office.
We'll put those up.
Yeah.
So have you guys ever had any mail theft issues yourselves,
Like mail.
or packages or anything? Have you,
Oh, you
No.
mean like someone following an UPS truck and stealing
yeah.
things?
Have you guys ever dealt with that personally?
Personally,
No.
no. I know that when we've mailed some stuff out, when people have just had stuff left on their porches or stuck in a door.
Especially this time of year, huh?
A few things have disappeared.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it's always been something that was easy enough for us to replace.
Good. Well, a Las Vegas man took matters into his own hand after experiencing this himself, and he had enough of that crap. So he placed a package of dog poop in a box and put it on his doorstep and had a video of the suspect carrying it off. And he said, I was really excited.
Isn't that a felony?
What? Stealing packages or wrapping dog poop?
No.
Okay, stealing packages. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's a big deal. Anyway, he said, he scampered off, and somehow this made it to TV out there in Las Vegas. And he said, yeah, I didn't call the cops. I know that they've got, a whole bunch of, they've got other things to do. But I'm just really hoping that when he gets home, that kind of, he knows that I got him, and, that'll leave him. I love that, though. I love it when people come up with creative ways to fight crime. Like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I've always been fascinated because, it doesn't happen that often, but occasionally when we ship something out, it gets stolen from a door or a porch or something like that, or delivered to the wrong, someone scoops it up from the, from the apartment lobby or wherever
Yeah.
it might be going.
Oh, God.
And I can always be fascinated that someone, they open it up and go, now what the hell am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
I mean, especially if if it's a very, like, wow.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be anything that, yes, most people could use it, but a lot of the stuff, is very gender specific, so you don't know what you've purchased. You're not going to find any place to take it back to because we can't, we don't take any returns. No one's attempted to do that. So it was like they go through all that, all the possible risk, and they're not getting anything.
It really is kind of a booby prize, isn't it? For a package thing. I mean, it kind of is. There was a story that just kind of got me, and since it's Florida, we got to always give Florida a little crap. This one woman went to jail for calling 911 to have chicken wings and cigarettes delivered. Yeah. 45-year-old woman called 911 and said she was drinking and unable to drive, so she wanted somebody at 911 to bring her chicken wings and cigarettes.
I do like the fact that she realized that she should not get behind the wheel.
Yeah.
That is good, but I'm pretty sure that 911 is not...
They don't have a bite squad in Florida?
Yeah.
Look at you finding the silver lining there and the good in somebody. I like that. In Columbus, Georgia, another guy involving driving and a beer truck stole it. And as soon as he tried to get away with it, he did something, kind of put his foot outside the car, fell out, and ran over his leg with the beer truck, and he's now in the hospital and charged with Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
So that's instant karma for you, I was thinking.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out
Colleen's
how
got
long...
the light bulb going.
Okay, a beer truck are not tiny, and you have to sort of hoof yourself up.
He
there.
fell out.
Yeah.
He totally just fell out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he wasn't, he probably had his foot on the running board type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Colleen's trying to wrap her head around that one.
Yeah.
Okay. UK traffic stop, Lancashire Constabulary. They stopped a car, and the guy mouthed off, so he got himself a probable cause search, and there was blow-up dolls in the truck. And what is funny about the story, it's unclear what the violation was or whether or not this guy went to jail, but the funny aspect of this story is the cop snapped pictures and tweeted it himself. So this made the news via the cop's Twitter account, and I guess that's okay. But on the doll, and it's a really crappy one, too. It's
Yeah,
one
of
the
course.
nasty-
20
Wait a minute. So it's just, like it was a blown up
Oh,
doll
yeah.
in the trunk? It wasn't just like, okay, so was
Oh,
it
no,
like
it
still
was-
in the box or anything like that?
No, it was ready for action. Under a skateboard. I don't know what that meant. But that was kind of...
That's how she walks.
Yeah, that was kind of hysterical. I've got a link. I don't know if Megan can post this, but if you YouTube Showry, Showry, It's a Korean girl, cute little Korean thing. She dances, swears in English, and orally fixates on all different kinds of food, including but not limited to huge dead fish. And she is an internet sensation for, like, she's got this huge following, but she mouths fish and does all of this stuff.
Like making out kind of a thing?
Well, sort of. I only watched a couple minutes.
Okay, wait a minute. How do you spell that?
Showry. Showry.
Okay.
And that's her stage name. I'm sure her Korean name is spelled differently. It might sound the same, but it's probably spelled more Korean-like. But the fish stuff is. But she's got a lot of views.
Yeah, of course she does.
Of course she does. Wait. Well, now we're gonna look because I brought it up. So,
she's got 2 more.
Yeah, she does. Okay, so
well, it's made the. It even made Cosmopolitan. Oh my God, this is I would say this would have the internet fixated.
Do you see her?
Yeah, I haven't gotten quite to the.
I mean, it's kind of funny. You gotta take a peek at that.
Oh, I mean, it's not particularly
tantalizing to you.
No, I mean, if it doesn't seem, it seems. I mean, okay, I don't think we need the Mr. Clean commercial, but I'll take a look at it later.
Mr. Clean of all things. Yeah, right. What is that? How does that work?
Oh, but the still shot of her like smooching the little fishy on the mouth is a little. I'm like, oh,
you're gonna go home and look. I know you are.
Well, I'm thinking, whatever. You know, if she found something, if folks are like paying her for this,
yeah.
But it seems, I mean, there's a lot of other weird stuff out there. So why not fish smooching?
Coachella, California, not too terribly far from where my brother lives. Okay, so a naked guy, tried to carjack a FedEx truck. And the headline on this was subtitled, "But that's not the funny part." Okay. So, dude.
Because naked guys hijacking FedEx trucks has become so common that it's not, I mean.
It's so blasé.
So yeah.
No, so he confronts the FedEx driver, butt naked. And the driver gave him the keys and ran off to a nearby home to get the incident reported. He wasn't injured, traumatized maybe, but definitely not injured. So Luna got the key. The guy's name is Albert Luna. I beg your pardon. Luna puts the keys in the truck so he could drive off, but he couldn't drive it. He didn't know how to drive the stick. We were big. So he ended up just giving up and running away from the scene, still naked. Investigators got some, footage of this, tracked him down at his home based on the description, and he's in the jail being held on $60,000 bond. Unclear as to whether or not he was wearing clothes when cops showed up at his house.
Well, he has a jumpsuit now, so that'll be fun.
Or something. We covered his junk one way or another. Damn it, we got that covered.
I'm pretty sure, that most companies' policies are, this is things, and you're a human, so just keys go. But I would assume that there would be a startling moment when the brain takes in that the person demanding the car is nude.
Yeah. Oh, and then he's gonna sit on your chair.
Because you're thinking
life's bleachable moment.
Because my brain would go, if the person's doing this nude, what are they on?
Oh yeah.
Because then you don't know how dangerous they are. Because that
they're high.
Yeah.
PCP something.
Well, I mean, on the one hand, you can see that they're not armed.
Yeah.
With a weapon other than something that you don't want to touch, right? Or touching you. Or
right. Do you want to get in a wrestling match with old nude guy? No.
He's only like 25. That's pretty funny stuff. Before we go, there's a short film I want to talk to you guys about that looks pretty funny. But let's just mention Bill Cosby. Did you see the latest on Bill Cosby?
I did see that he's decided that he is going to sue his accusers for defamation.
Yeah, 7 of them. These are the 7 that are going after him, and so it's almost like a countersuit.
Yeah.
And here's the
I can't believe you can do that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
I mean, it's one thing if they took him to court and then they ruled that the charges were completely outlandish.
Yeah, that you can do something
then
beforehand.
you can sue for defamation. But, I mean, he hasn't even been proved innocent yet.
Well, but here's the problem.
Or not guilty. Either way. Yeah.
And see, here's a tricky, this is what I wanted you guys to talk about. The statute of limitations has run out on these. So he can't be prosecuted on the ones. So he's saying, I can't have a trial, and I can't, it's just sitting out there. So I can kind of see the reason. I'm not saying I agree with it, but the question to you that I wanted to pose, ladies, is should there be a statute of limitations on rape?
They did change it here for children, and I really have a problem to some extent with victim crimes having, injury crimes having a statute of limitations. When you're talking about something as what has been perceived as shameful in the past, and because it's integrated in what's going
and
through
traumatizing.
there, and traumatizing, that and the fact that for the most part women aren't believed, and especially men aren't believed, because you can't, no one's gonna, I think they need to, like they did here in Minnesota, they said,
But they said, here's your one chance. They didn't say from here on out statute of limitations are being extended. They
not
said
perfect.
Here's your one chance. If you were molested 20 years ago, but it doesn't save a kid now who gets molested and keeps it to himself till he's 30. I mean,
which is a clear pattern of how that particular victims of that particular crime behave time and time again. We see it. Yeah.
No, not perfect, but I think it's a start.
Sure.
And I think other folks will work on that. And then see, other states are going to take a look at what this was. They'll take a look at it. Someone's going to say, this runs out. Let's extend it. Let's change it. Let's do something. They're going to see, but they at least did something. And sometimes it doesn't make anyone happy.
So by suing them back, can it be determined that he in fact was guilty?
I'm that's a really good question, Liz. I'm not sure. I mean, I think that,
it just brings it puts it all on the court record. Yeah. Because they're going to testify and they're going to say this happened then, this happened this, and this happened then, this happened then.
But here's the sticky legal point here, which I was fascinated by. This is not a trial based on guilt or innocence. It's going to be he said, they said, and they're going to be swearing, in court, and so is he.
Sure, but 7 people versus one person.
And by the time, and if it goes to court, it is going to be 2016, and there's no reason. I mean, if
there might be more.
Yeah, and there'll probably be more and then those 7. To prove what's going on, those 7 women can bring in everyone else, and those 7 women can bring in the folks that were, that want to testify. And I just think it's going to be very difficult, and because we don't know what happened, we can say that up front. For someone to stand up on his side and say, "No, I was there at exactly the same time, and this didn't happen." There's At this point,
this is a really weird, super convoluted in every way kind of case. But
I don't think it doesn't matter. His career is destroyed.
Yeah.
Period. Good, but sorry.
And there's arguments. There's so many different arguments. I mean, you could say they kept silent because of who he was, and they were afraid of not being believed because he was beloved. But then again, you could also say that they could be opportunistic. There's an argument for that.
But some of them don't need the money, though.
No, it is no. The incidents, and I know that gets brought up a lot, but the incidents of someone lying about something like this, because the backlash is so great, is so small. It's that there is so much more to lose when someone accuses someone of sexual assault than there is for them to gain currently. Hopefully, and we're, and like I said, as legal wise and society wise and everything, there's we're just figuring this out.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that, 25 years from now, when folks are going through law school, they're going to look at this morass and go, well, it was pretty simple. Why didn't they, it's just going to be hard to believe that folks weren't believed. Yeah. And I hope it gets to that point.
Yeah. And I came in here prepared to say, and I do agree with this. I do not believe that there should be a statute of limitations on rape, number one. But number two, Colleen, I'm going to expand that definition because it's what you said. I don't think that there should be a statute of limitations on injury crimes. I really don't. Why? Just because a number of years have passed by. If you can prove it.
Yeah. You prove it. You prove it. And it's harder. It is harder.
with phones everywhere now, I think,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, hey, by the way, this was unearthed and it's irrefutable, and why let them off on a technicality?
I mean,
Yeah.
and I mean, and an injury can be, you know, and obviously you have to define injury, you know, but if folks, you know, if you bankrupted a whole bunch of people and there was a lot of injury, but you can't prove it until something happens 20 years from now. I'm like, I think if they want to change it to where, you know, if technology or information has come to light that can help something, you know, going through there, I don't know about, it's frustrating.
It's a big
But then
one.
the question is, let's say we, you know, legalize marijuana, right? Do you then turn around? I mean, you should then turn around and free everyone that's in jail for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know. It's a very slippery slope. But yeah, I mean, I hate it that there's a statute of limitation on it. I don't think, and I mean, particularly for children, but I think for anybody.
Yeah.
That's just an unbelievable thing. Couple other things, guys. There's a short film coming out, and it's called Girl Night Stand. And the recap of it, it's meant to be humorous, but it's the first lesbian sexual encounter and how it goes and what they go through. And it looks really interesting, especially now with the lid coming so off of lifestyles and being and acceptance and, you know, and everything else. So I think this is a really interesting movie. It's coming out, and the filmmaker Jenna Lorenzo said that she made Girl Night Stand to serve as a prequel for a feature she's working on called Les Bomb, and they're going to be they're going to be shooting it this particular spring. And she said, this is the movie that I wanted to see but couldn't find when I was coming out. So it's kind of for, you know, I think for everybody. I think it's for people in this situation, but then for other people, you know, that could possibly raise understanding and tolerance. So
right.
Be watching for Girl Night Stand, and it's supposed to be very, very funny.
Okay.
And then, Colleen, you sent me this, and there's talking about a journal, the Social Psychology and Personality Science Journal, came out and said that sex once a week is absolutely just perfect. But if you have sex more than once a week, your happiness level decreases. And I wanted to know what the room thought of that.
I read this story and I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, huh? And
I kind of get it.
yeah, I mean, going through there because maybe you're compensating if you're having, you know, instead of talking, you're having sex. I don't know, because I kept the story and everything sort of got into a little bit more technical than I sort of understood.
Yeah, there was a lot of data talk in there.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know. You know, I think attempting to put a number on something always messes with people's heads.
Well, it's a law of averages, probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they came to this. I don't know. I enjoy sex once a week, so.
Well, and you know, the thing is does it become a chore? I mean, that was one of
That's
the first
when
things
I think
thought.
that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Is more because chances are you don't both want sex once a week, and it might be one of those things where the body, you know, the intimacy needs sex once a week because, you know, longer than that. Mm-hmm. So shorter than that, it's more than just a need, you know. It's so then you're dealing with, you've got unequaled sex drives. Maybe somebody's feeling guilty about something, you know. I mean, who knows, you know. And then less, you're not as connected, you know. You're not touching base intimately, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's weird to think that that something that connects really can be a way to hide. You know, too.
Yeah.
And you know,
well, the human being can just fuck up anything.
oh God, I know. And you know what I was laughing about? You know, Michael made a joke last week when he was in here, when Ross was in with us. Some crack about being married. Ross made some comment across the table to him, and he's like, I'm married, I don't have sex anymore. And it got me thinking about like all the Bachelorette stuff, how everything is penis themed, when hilariously it's assumed that the sex goes down after marriage. So why do we do that? How did that whole big trend get started? Any thoughts?
I think it's a holdover to being a virgin till you're married. Hee 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 hee, giggle giggle giggle.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay.
I mean, I think there definitely is. I don't know I don't think it correlates with marriage, but I think as a couple, you definitely, the sex frequency is less after, you know, that first year. Whether you get married, see, we used to get married after like 3 months.
Yeah.
You know, you'd go on a couple of dates and you'd get married. I mean, now, like me and my husband, we were together for like 6 years. So the only thing that changed was my last name.
Yeah.
You know, really. I mean, I felt more comfortable doing things like buying a house.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
You know, having children because they were, you know.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating because you're I mean, you know, there's life because when you're, especially since most folks, and I think this probably, you know, changes too as people meet when they're older, you're not really doing a lot when you're younger in your first meeting. You're not dealing with kids. You're not dealing with something going on at work. You're not dealing with an ailing parent. You're not dealing with, you know, there's a lot of other stuff that does not exist in, you know, in a younger relationship. So you got, you know, you can in fact stay up to 3 o'clock in the night, you know, morning, and then get up and go to work the next day and not be a dead person. That shit does not happen when you're, I mean, you know, some people can do it, but you can pull this stuff off in your, you know, in your 20s.
Yeah.
And it just does not, you know, and the longer you're in a relationship, you move in together. So you're, you know, you've got, you know, you have the kids or you have the, you know, different things going on or something else happens and stuff gets in the way.
Yep. I want to clear up Clarence Carter here, and I don't know how to make it be quiet as I do the ad thing. So I'm sitting on my phone right now. I hope it doesn't ring. And then we're going to play the Clarence Carter. But yeah, I mean, I get thinking, you know, some of the stuff that we accidentally get into. Okay, hold on a minute here. We're gonna play Mr. Carter. But you know, some of the topics that end up coming up are pretty funny. I mean, and more thought provoking than just vibrators around here. And I like that. I mean, it's kind of become an interesting adventure. Shall we play it?
Well, let's go for it. A little Christmas present. I was driving down the road today, and I just giggled because I'm pretty sure when this song first came out that the term backdoor didn't have as widely the known connotation that it does now.
Okay. And with that, Colleen, here we go.
They call me Backdoor Santa. I make my runs about the break of day. They call me Backdoor Santa. I make my runs about the break of day. Oh, oh, oh. I make all the little girls happy while the boys are out to play. Look at here. I ain't like old St. Nick. He don't come but once a year. Oh, 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 oh. I ain't like old St. Nick. He don't come but once a year. But look at here. I come running with my presents every time you call me dear. Look at here. I keep some change in my pocket in case the children at home. I give them a few pennies so that we can be alone. I leave the back door open so if anybody smells a mouse and would know Santa be in trouble if ain't no children in the house. They call me Backdoor Santa. I make my runs about the break of day. Look at here. I make all the little girls happy while the boys are out to play. That's what they call me, Backdoor Santa. That's what they call me. They call me Backdoor Santa. That's what all the girls call me. I give them all the little presents. That's what they call me. They call me Backdoor Santa. And I like them to call me that. They call me Backdoor Santa. And I like it, I like it.
Oh, that was absolutely fabulous. Thank you, Clarence Carter, for that.
Which channel on your?
Yeah, what are you listening to?
No, it was it the oh god, I don't remember one of the rock and roll stations.
Naughty Christmas.
There's something called Deep Tracks and there's something called Album Rock. I mean,
I've got a lot
satellite
of stuff
too.
Satellite,
Yeah.
okay, that's what I have. I know
It's satellite. Yeah.
It's
Yeah, this would not
Seriously.
be on real on the radio.
Oh my
No,
God.
not anymore.
I love it. I love it. What are the kids going to do with the pennies?
You just go away, kid. You bother me.
Go to the candy store and get penny candy. You know, when it used to be penny candy.
Oh my God. Well, but I'm not like Santa. He only comes once a year. That's a beautiful line.
That's pretty much what made me look at the like, did I just what? As I'm driving down
I
the
have a
road.
lot of Christmas cards with that particular. There's like a Mrs. Claus. She's trying to get one of the elves to make her a vibrator because Santa only comes once a year.
Oh, so funny. Well, we'll look for some more good, naughty Christmas songs. We'll do some in our next couple shows. But I do want to say one thing before we shut her down today, Colleen. This is show number 51. Next show is going to be our we will have completed 1 year of the Great Northern Sex
You
Cast.
started the week before Christmas?
We started in late December last year. We did.
Weird.
Yeah. Isn't
Yeah,
that
Are
crazy?
you guys going to do a Christmas episode then?
I don't know. We gotta get together. There's a lot of stuff going on the next couple of weeks, but I'm not going out of town because my daughter doesn't want to travel with me anymore. But
So we'll do something. We gotta concoct a sexy Christmas treat. But great show, Liz. So good to see you, Colleen. We'll be back at it next week, huh?
sounds good.